going from an infant to an adult. To an adult. Okay, infant to an adult. And the reason why I wanted to, am I bringing this up to you? The reason why I'm bringing this up to you is because I want to explain some stages that are supposed to occur from the infant to the adult stage. The morphing, the metamorphosis. Okay, you're going to morph from a small little baby. Okay, you're going to morph into this adult-sized character. That it will stop growing at one point. When it stops growing is when metamorphosis is done. It's been complete. That means all your organs are fully grown, your teeth are fully grown, you don't no longer have baby teeth, you have good sight and vision, you have good audio and hearing, you have good motor skills, mobility skills. Okay? The first thing you want to understand about the infant stage, here we go, is learning. They're in learning mode. This mode is turned on. So you're in learning mode. And it stops about 25, where it turns off. Okay, 25 years old, it'll turn off. Learning mode will turn itself off, and now you have to self-teach everything to yourself because you no longer have an incoming teacher teaching you. So now you're fending for yourself. By the age of 25, you should be fending for yourself in this life, which means learning mode has been turned off and everything becomes your responsibility to take in the learning. Okay? So it's an infant to an adult, and that adult doesn't fully develop till it's 25. That's the final stages of like metamorphosis. So you're going through this learning stage. But then what also you're going through is cognitive function stages, like one would be considered to be mobility. Mobility skills. And it requires skills because sometimes the character may do a backflip, a front flip, they may do some type of 360 rotation with a backflip. Not entirely sure of the name of that. They may get into fighting, boxing, UFC. They may need skills in that location. This is all under the mobility. Mobility is about flex. Flexing of the muscles. So flexing muscles, okay? Which is taking the muscle and flexing it. Or stretching it. I'm sorry. Flexing is one of the mobilities, but stretching is the main mobility that you're focused on. Stretching. Okay? That's going to be the main focus when it comes to mobility, because in order to get more skills through mobility, you need to be flexible. Okay? Flexible will lead to more skills. You'll have more skills from the infant to the adult. It'll develop more skills in the mobility section, the mobility attribute to your life. You also have an attribute called learning mode, where the child will learn most fastest. Infant, feeding it information. This could be like, if you put it in front of a TV screen, does it not learn how to pick it up and learn how to use the tablet? You may not even teach it on how to use the tablet or use the computer. It develops its own skill. So you can see that the learning mode is on. Okay? Because it has the ability to teach oneself, but at the same time be teachable. Okay? The teachable part is going off at 25. Why? Because there's no one teaching you anymore. So you are teachable, but what you're doing from 25 on is working. So you need some skills throughout this infant to adult metamorphosis. One of the main skills you want to know are math, science, history, and language. Okay, the 4 categories you need to know, and you still need to be in learning when the learning mode turns off, when you're teachable, when you're getting out of college. By 25, you should be out of college and done. Unless you're going for a master's. Okay? And then if you're going for a master's, you may have like 27, 28. Depending on when you go into college. Most people go into college at the age of 18. So learning mode goes off at 25. So then you have to be teachable by teaching yourself these skills. But who does that at an infant's age? No one. No one can teach themselves at an infant's age. They have to be taught. When you're holding the bottle, does it not eventually grab the bottle and hold the bottle itself? So then you know it was teachable. It was taught by you holding the bottle, that by you holding the bottle, it held the bottle up. It noticed that. It took that in as a cognitive function. A motor skill. All right, motor skills. Motor skills are going to be important. That's going to be body language and stuff. Body language is led to expression. Speech. Speech is going to be in there. Your language. So body language, also speech. So you're going to have to be teachable at this infant's age by having a teacher teach you. That's why everybody was supposed to be teachers. One teaching another. What one teacher doesn't know, another teacher knows. And eventually, as you grow the community on this path of learning, everyone grows together. So togetherness is there. But when everybody says, me, and takes away from the learning skills of an infant, teachable infant, it leads the infant into its adult years with no skills. No skills on how to live. No survival skills. Say the least. Okay, survivalist. Why? Because you're playing survival of the fittest. You are playing in a world that requires you to do everything you in your ability to perform at a performance level. Survivalist must be turned on. So the mode must be turned on at all times. You always must be in survival mode. You must turn that on. Because there's skills in that. Okay? One is to learn how to start a fire without having a lighter. That'll teach you how to create fire. One of the first techniques that was developed during the time that before lighters and stuff, matches, before things flicked and turned itself on. They got a mode that says on, but it says flick me. I didn't say flick me off. But the survivalist is going to learn how to clean water. Okay? It's going to the river, it needs water, it needs to learn how to clean it. That's the problem with the people across the world. They don't know how to clean dirty water. Filtration system, purification system that gets the microbiology out of the water and clean and separates the dirt from the actual water part of it. They don't know how to separate it. And it takes a while to purify water. So you got to purify water every day. You might want to do it by a larger amount. Or find a new water hole. And the only way you can do that is by using the government's equipment, the technology. The government knows where the good water holes are. Okay? They busted into them. One being the quarry. Anytime you see a quarry, somebody was digging rock up and turned it into a mining location of rock where they needed this rock. Maybe they needed to build some type of bedrock or something. But they needed this rock back so enough to where they would go down far enough to where they would hit the water main line. And it would bust open and turn into a quarry, and then you go swim there. And wonder how the water got there. No one ever questioned how the water got there. When we were all swimming as kids. Why? Because it's not being taught as a question that you should be asking yourself at a teenager's age. What's being taught at a teenager's age is drugs. Drink alcohol. Do pills. Take pharmaceutical drugs because you're depressed. Why? You ain't got no survivalist skills. You got no motor skills. Your math, science, and history and language looks weak. Your mobility skills are not there, and your learning mode is all jacked up. Why? Parents. Parents, the community, the schools, the friends, the strangers. No one can act right. If they did, there wouldn't be kidnappings all the time. People want to take another child off the street and have sex with him. You want to talk about the truth about why they kidnap children? They want to have sex with the damn thing. They can't have sex with adults. They go for children. Why? Because the adult doesn't want them. Thinks they're weird and stuff. And the character can't control themselves. They can't keep themselves in control through learning mobility, math, science, history, and language, motor skills, and survivalist skills. They go into a straight killer. They go into kill mode. But they call this murder. First degree. First degree murder. Because the first thing he thought about and planned out was murder. It wasn't the second thing on his mind. It contemplated murder the first time and planned it out and killed him. So you have to have awareness. You have to have this skill built. Aware of everything that's going on in your life. So it doesn't fall apart when you make a mistake. So it's connected to mistakes. Okay? Your awareness is connected to mistakes. How do I know? Because are you aware that you're making a mistake? You made a mistake by deleting my channel. There's a reason behind why I'm doing my work. You don't know the end result. I'm not violent. I'm not going out here hurting people. I buy and help people in this world. With what little I have, I give it away. When I give it away to the poor and stuff. Not to the needy. I don't give it to people who want it. I give it to people who need it. There's a difference. People who want it, that's what they want. It's the people who really need it that God looks after for you. He'll send me on certain missions just to go after people to go help somebody who needs something. Who's in need, not a want. God doesn't send people on want missions. I want this. If the person needs help, it will send a character to your vicinity or location to give you some help. And when the help arrives, if you deny the help, it was because you denied the help. The character that asked for somebody to help them. And when they did, they got scared or whatever that happened during their survival and awareness, they freaked out in their motor skills and the mobility to take it and be teachable. Now, some people have decided to do some wicked things in this world that has put people into fear-mongering states. People have done a lot of wickedness on this planet. I mean, it's so dang wicked out here. People are scared to go outside anymore. They're scared to talk to each other. It's that wicked out there that no one trusts anybody anymore. Everybody's put their trust is thrown out the window. And all trust is truth. No one speaks truth anymore. Why? Because you're not allowed. You're not allowed to speak the truth. The truth doesn't matter if you're speaking truth about oneself or about the community or about the society as a whole, unit. Okay? You got individuals, then you have the community of individuals. Then you have a society, a whole community, a whole society of people that are individuals. And each individual choice implemented into the game through the sharing of choices ultimately leads to an outcome. A mathematical outcome, a statistic of what will occur, what kind of events will occur from this type of behavior. Going from an infant to an adult. Developing these different skills and modes that are turned on. And when some of them turn off. You're still teachable after the age of 25. There's just no one teaching you anymore. You don't have the money to pay for another college. Let alone you're in debt on the first one. So they want you to pay $100,000 for information they say is worth that. Why? Because they say to build a skill in your life that'll make you the amount that they made you pay. And they're lying. They're lying. Because there's not enough positions open in that sector to where they'll all be paid the same amount. So some have to take and go because they weren't qualified enough. They didn't qualify for the job. Qualifications. What does it say for qualifications when you fill out an application? Your skills. How do I know about all this? Because it happened in my life. No one was teaching me math, science, history, and language in my family. So I didn't grow skills there. But sure enough, if they didn't have skills in drugs, doing them, smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, partying all the time, they have plenty of skills in that. So I developed skills in that on how to learn how to party and do drugs and drink your life away and spend all this time wasted. Sure enough, they'd spend a lot of time in arguing, fighting, chaos. Didn't spend any time in awareness of teaching your kids what's going to happen on each mistake and how to get through it, since I thought the parents were the ones who made the mistakes first in order to ensure that the child would have a better shot at not making the same choice they made. So they didn't have to experience the same outcome. From an infant to an adult, you're going through metamorphosis, developing skills. Trust is thrown out the window after a child's age. Why? Because no one's speaking the truth into the child anymore. The child doesn't even know the truth. It believed the lie and transformed its character. Why? No trust in God. Police cars riding around with say trust in God. Which one do you tell the truth? When you show up to a scene, a crime scene. You don't even ask the characters both sides of the story, and then when you do get both sides of the story, you always believe the female. Why? Because she knows how to smooth talk that language. The male usually tells the truth most of the time, unless it knows it's going to go to jail. Then it'll lie to you to keep itself out of jail. Everybody lies to stay out of jail. Just common factor that's the truth. But if it's not going to cause them to go to jail, the male's probably going to tell you the truth. And the female will probably lie to you. If she done murdered somebody and some reason you picked up the knife, she's going to tell them you murdered him. Why? Because your fingerprints are now on the murder weapon. You didn't murder him. You just picked up the knife, wondering what it was doing in the kitchen on the ground all bloody. Because you got home from work and she done murdered somebody in the house. You went to go investigate. By the time you went to investigate, police show up and you're stuck in the middle of a situation which it looks like you're getting ready to get charged with some type of murder charge. That's what it looks like when a female lies, okay? Or sets you up in a situation you have no awareness to. Your survivalist skills are put into effect, so you turn it on. Trying to figure out how you're going to survive this type of mistake you just got yourself in. Because it is a mistake you were with that female, because if you'd have known she was a murderer or a psychopath, you would have done and left her. But since you had no awareness in that skill, it became a mistake. And since there was no trust in the relationship, there was no truth, you couldn't find out the truth in her. She lied to you every time she spoke to you. Wonder why there's so many single men on the earth? Single men, they don't have no truth, and they're probably average. I'm sorry to say it. If you're average and you speak the truth, your game is off. You're not going to get any play. Why? Because you can't flutter a woman with a lie. You got to make her smile, laugh, and giggle at lies. And we're all supposed to just go on with our lives in this fantasy dream world we created for her, to believe that she's almighty and she's the supreme God of all Godish, that she shall be the ruler of all men, and all men shall bow a knee and be gay like queers that they are these days. Because they have no awareness of their mistakes, they're lying to themselves all the time. It comes back up to this motor skill. Their body language changes into a homosexual. Okay, and then they start having a little, where you notice right away that the character has some type of motor skill issue. His motor isn't running right inside of his brain. The motor we say is high performance motors, which is supposed to be V12s down here. I think it's one of the highest cylinders. The mobility's off. It's walk, which is under body language, but body language is also expression. Trust in God. You don't know what that'll lead to, but that's your best option. What is the better option than trusting in God? Compared to trusting and putting your faith in the man which dies. No one can give me an answer on that. Because you can't answer something you know to be the truth. How are you going to respond when you have no argument? The churches can't even argue with that. Yet if they go against my channel, so be it. They're scared of false teachings. Playing into the devil. Why do you think the churches haven't stand? None of them. They haven't go grab the whole entire church, take them out to the streets and have them preach. And everybody in the church leave the church, the house of the church, and take the church to the streets where it says the church is, and everybody at all moments of time. You are the church. It's your job to get the word out there. And if the church doesn't speak on anything, then what is the church worth? Nothing. When 3 or more are gathered together, Christ is there. So how could you be afraid to go in the street and preach? If 3 or more people are there, you shall surely not be harmed. It's the people who have taken it from the church to the streets that are being persecuted right now. Persecuted for taking the word outside of the church and doing it openly and publicly. We're being violated here, and this considered to be a crime now. A crime against humanity, against God's own people. It's a crime. Everybody's godly until they decide to switch devil mode on. When you switch devil mode on, demon mode on, it's usually because you're lacking in one of these functioning skills. Because if you were operating under these skills properly, you'd be leading from infant to adult as God's image. The image of God. Is God not math, science, history, and language? What are we talking about here? If we're not studying this, then call me crazy. But if we're studying this, then call yourself crazy for not believing it. I'm not the fool here. I'm dying. There's a difference. My character is dying. is suffering from Parkinson's in the heart. Parkinson's disease, Muhammad Ali's disease, which killed him, is in my heart. I got a brain injury, suffered it at the right front lobe, where the decision making is located at, and the cognitive functions to the main motor system. So my motor skills got messed up. I had a little bit of a body language issue because my expressions and my facial expressions don't express the way my communication skills come on. And you think I can fix that? It's an injured, damaged organ. Who's ever been able to replace the brain? No one. And then calibrate it and fire it back up so it electrically does its job properly? It's an electrical motor. It's an electric vehicle. You're standing in it. You're not pumping gas in your ass, are you? No, but you do put fuel as food. The structure of food, the way it's structured and compounded together through science. You are eating this. And if it's not structured properly, it's unnatural to the body. It'll kill you. It is what it is. Deadly, poisonous foods. So the last thing you need to understand is the hunger. Hunger mode. This is a real mode. How do I know? What happens when you get hungry? Say, man, I'm pretty hungry, don't you? That's the mode. Turns on whenever you're hungry. So you get this mode to turn on every time you're hungry. And if you wait long enough when you're starving, it'll turn itself off. Long enough when you're starving. You have to wait till you're starving to death. When you feel like you're starving to death, this mode will eventually turn itself off. This hungry mode, and you'll go into fasting mode, where you begin to fast. And you break down the fat that's in your body. You start killing the microorganisms that are attacking your physical structure. Maybe one of the microbiology organisms that are a parasite is attacking one of your organisms. One of your organisms, which is in your body, like the heart, which is an organ, right? An organ is connected to organism. Organism is your full structure. What's inside of you is an organ, but it's an organism. It's not the full, it's the full size of the organism and what it does, its functions. It comes with functions. Its function is to deliver blood throughout the body through the vein, which sends oxygen throughout the body. That's why when you lose oxygen in your toe or your finger or somewhere in one of the main locations where blood doesn't pump as much through, it dies. And then it goes in what we call frostbite or something. And where it turned black. It'll die. You have a dead piece of body part on your body and it has to get cut off because it'll spread and infect. Hungry. When you're hungry, you turn this mode on. And it tells you that you're hungry. But it's not even true. You're not hungry all of a sudden 8 hours after you just ate a meal. What you are is addicted. You're addicted to chemicals. Whether they're natural or unnatural. Why? How do I know? Sugar is like the most addicting product, right? And that turns that hungry mode on. Why? Because you go into sugar shock. What they call a sugar shock, where you go into a shock and you go into shape. When you take too much intake of energy drinks, you go into a shake because you drank too much sugar. And now you're in a diabetic shake. What diabetes get? So you're leading yourself closer and closer to diabetes. Every time you drink, the more and more sugar. Drinking Kool-Aid is so bad for your health, it leads people into diabetes. Diabetes, you might as well call it AIDS, because they call it Kool-Aid. It ain't giving you aid. I'm telling you right now, it ain't giving you no help at all. Call it, the grade A sugar, man. Not only did it come out of a sugar packet, but we dumped more sugar in it. Slam dunk, brownie, on artificial sugars. Artificial sugars is artificial flavors. Okay? Let's get it down correct. Artificial sugars is artificial flavors. Little sugar grains that have taste and flavor to it. Who is dumb now? Me? Or do I tell you that I got brain injury, so sometimes when you see me in public, my brain, because I've got psychological malfunctions going on inside of my brain, it will drive me into the pit. Where my mind is in the pit a lot. I've stopped there for a second and then when I try to get myself out of the pit, it starts right away in the beginning of the time I wake up. It will feed me negativity. Why? Because of the mistakes. They're negative. You make enough negative mistakes, it brings you to a what? Negative. It's not going to take you positive and bring you up here in your electromagnetic field. Correct? Positive thoughts. Negative thoughts. You weigh negative heavily. Not heavily. Heavily versus heavily. Heavy. Weighing heavy on your life, on your lifeline, your time. You start to run out faster. You have to keep learning and be teachable. Because when you turn 25, it's off. It's turned off and now you're going downhill. If you're not teaching yourself and going still up the hill. But that climb is on yourself now. How do I know? I know because it's not only happened to me, it's happened to many people I know. And they're dead now. No voice to speak. Because every time they spoke, somebody put a muzzle on it and shut it up. Like a dog. Barking too much. It was barking the truth too much. It didn't want to hear it. Dog barks the truth too much. You done smack it and kill it. You smack it at first, then you'll kick it once you're done smacking it, and then you'll go and kill it if it doesn't shut up. And that's what you do to a dog. You first smack it, then you kick it, and then you kill it. Seek, kill, devour. You are the devil. If you seek, kill, and destroy my soul, you are considered a devil. Because the character that I am playing and portraying is not seeking, killing, and devouring your spirit. It is telling you about yourselves and the causes and issues that we have to our society. You want to say, I'm a good parent. What you been teaching your kid? Answer that one for me, and if you can answer it for me, don't tell me you sent him to a teacher to teach him. I don't want to hear that. That means you got no teacher skills and you've taught nothing to your child. You expected a teachable character, but it didn't become teachable because no one was teaching it at home. The structure of the character is out of whack. It's out of order. structure within inside of the character is even worse off than it is on the outside, the external. So it runs into psychology issues, psychological malfunctions. It's a malfunction if the character is depressed. It's malfunctioning. I can't live, I can't go on with life anymore. It feels like it's over. It'll even have you to the point where you feel like you're physically even dying. You say it's not a malfunction. It's a character that's malfunctioning in many different areas of the psychological part of the brain. The voice. The voice is psychological. It's psychology. They call it psychology. That's considered the voice. The psychology is connected to the language. So how is it that language itself is able to kill you? Because you got good language and you got bad language. And most people are on bad vibrational language. Because when it became teachable, learnable, the adult never put anything into the infant. So we brought many children into the world from adults that were just allowed. There's no abortions allowed. You can't abort the child now, man. But you're a damn if it don't, the infant ain't going to suffer. So you want the adult to create a child and make the damn child suffer for the rest of his life and go through hell? You don't know what you're talking about. And that's how I know I got you beat. Claim abortion shouldn't happen. Sometimes God aborts the child for you. You don't want your child being raped, murdered, and kidnapped, do you? But that's a potential when you bring a child into the world, is it not? Is it not a potential that your child be strung out on drugs? Is it not a potential that your child be an alcoholic? Is it not a potential that your child be smoking cigarettes and kill itself? Is it not a potential that no one put anything into the child and the child goes suicidal on everybody? Because there's been no love put into the child. Absolutely none. Stripped of all love and thrown into all hate. Hatred. It's what this dang place is. Lovers of thyself. If it doesn't fit oneself's personality or persona, it denies it. It can't be the truth. No, 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 sir. It ain't come from the cameras. The ones on camera. Am I not on camera? Do I not swear to tell the truth? Nothing but the truth shall help me God? You can't say that on YouTube? Does that become a crime? To ban a channel? So you gonna fire me up? I was about dead. Now I got a channel taken from me. I might be able to put myself in another mode again. If I get the answer I need tomorrow, I'm leaving. I'm leaving, man. I'm doing it. Because I ain't going to go out like that. I'm going to go out sober, man. If I'm going to die, I'm going out sober. I'm going back to a rehab, 6 months. I decided to go there because it's the last place that I went that I actually felt the best about myself. So I can rely on that Christian word, that God's word is the truth. It's what saved my life last time. Not man. Man didn't come and rescue me off the street and say, come into my own, my brother. I'll take care of you, because no one does that. Why? There's no trust. They don't trust in God. They trust that every man that enters your life, woman or child, is going to hurt or take something from them that means something to them. And it's usually a want. They want it now, if it's not a want, it's a need, because let's just say if it was your grandma's wedding ring and they stole your grandma's wedding ring and pawned it, and you can never get that back. A lot of the times you can never get it back. But if you can get it back, then you know all you have to do is involve people you don't want to involve. See how that it goes? They don't want to involve the police neither. So nobody wants the police showing up, and every time you got police cars outside your car because you done let a stranger in your house. That's what the trust is down here. Strangers can't be trusted because they're all drug addicts. Whoever trusts a drug addict and a drunk? I don't even trust them. And I'm one of them. How the heck am I supposed to trust them when they don't even treat me right? And I'm supposed to say they're not a mistake in my life neither? Yeah, but how do you get out of it without the money? Anybody been able to answer that one? You got an answer I could freaking, oh boy, you got an answer that just lit up a light bulb in your brain, didn't it? You can't go anywhere. So what are you going to say about changing your life when money doesn't? This is what changes people's lives. It gets them better educations. You have to pay for $100,000 just to get a 4-year worth. 4 years? That's it? $100,000 gets you 4 years, when $100,000 towards a house can get you $50,000 flipped. Flipped on the flip side. So you come out with $150,000. So why is flipping property easier than it is to go to school and become smart? Because they want to control who's smart and who's not, by controlling them by the way they came into the world, not the way they should leave. They're controlling the way we come into the world, by controlling the way our system is built off of. If it's not built correctly here, then screw you, toss them out, and throw another one in, when the character may not even ask for it. The spirit incoming. It's got to suffer. You think suffering is appropriate?